Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Walking Mountains is here, and they don't close down for the off season. They may have closed some of their programs up on Vail Mountain, but they still have some great things going on. And we always learn something when Peter Suneson comes on in. And Peter, what are we going to talk about today?
So you use the term off season. Another word that we hear around the valley is the mud season.
Oh,
so
yes.
We are here to talk about mud. We're here to talk about soils, and we're here to talk about what we can do to help our soils and try to prevent runoff and as much mud as possible.
Yeah, we have to think about our impact and what it has on the environment. Even though we think, okay, we're doing something good and healthy, we're getting back on our bikes or on the trails, that can be very damaging to get on the trails too early.
Exactly. And so this Friday, April 15th, is kind of when a lot of the trail systems are going to technically open. However, a lot of the trails, after last night's rainstorm, are going to be pretty squishy. So even though they are open for recreation, generally speaking, if you have to think about what shoes you're going to ruin by going out and getting them muddy, you're going to want to stay up the trail. So that trail is in great shape.
Okay.
Not a picture from yesterday. And all the trails that we have in this valley were made specifically with kind of runoff and rain in mind. So, they're all specifically built based on their slope and their aspect to try to prevent that runoff.
But some of them were built just by the animals and little game trails and everything. And think about this, ride dirt trails, not muddy trails. And it's an etiquette thing.
Absolutely, and it's not just it also ruins your equipment. You don't want to go have to wash out your sprockets every time after you bike. This is a great example of trail braiding. So you can see that trail right in the middle, and then you've got these braids where people have tried to avoid that main section of trail. And what they've done here is they've just made that trail wider and wider and wider. And so that is a way, if we keep doing that, what's to stop that trail from getting bigger and bigger and bigger? So two kind of key rules. One, if it's muddy, try to find a place that's not muddy.
Yeah.
We have this entire valley to play on. So, head further west, find that south-facing slope that's going to be a little bit more sun-baked. Or if you do have to ride on that muddy trail, ride it right in the middle.
Go right through it.
Just deal with the consequences. If you made that choice to ride on the muddy trail, make the choice also to clean your bike afterwards.
Since we are still seeing some moisture and some colder weather up valley, it might be good just to go all the way to Fruita, all the way to Moab until we dry out a little bit more, or then head to the southern facing trails.
Absolutely. I probably would give Homestead, the West Avon Preserve, maybe another week or so to really dry out. West Avon Preserve is south facing, so it should be in great condition pretty soon.
Well, you brought in some little samples, soil samples here. Tell us about what we're seeing.
So what we're looking at, so soil is an incredibly dynamic thing. We talk about it as dirt. That really doesn't do it justice. And what you're looking at on these layers or on these profiles is a very small organic layer, and that's where all the good stuff happens. That's where all the nutrients are. And up here in the mountains, we have what's called oligotrophic soil. So it's nutrient deficient. We don't have a lot of plants. We don't have a lot of organic matter that dies every year and builds up that really healthy and nutrient-rich layer of soil. So we've got very limited soil for growing, and so we want to keep that in place. We want to do everything we can to keep that in place on the mountainsides, along the valley bottoms, so it doesn't wash off and wash downstream.
Yeah, we hear a lot of times about river or creek restoration projects that are trying to, keep the shorelines intact.
Exactly, because with those channelized streams, you get the water that's really, really moving, and the banks are going to be eroding, and we're going to be losing this organic layer. And we don't have that great of a growing season anyways. All of our plants up on the mountains are stunted. It's a really hard life. So we should we should do what we can to keep as much soil so they can grow.
Okay, so even though the winter wildlife restrictions will be lifted on the 15th of this month, doesn't mean the trails are quite ready. Use common sense. If it's been raining a lot, if they're still muddy, stay off them.
Exactly. No, that's the easiest thing to do. Stay off them. Go west. Hold your horses just a little bit longer.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Peter Suneson, he's with Walking Mountains. Their website is walkingmountains.org. And don't forget, they do a little nature hike at their nature center, their campus right here in Avon, Walking Mountains at 2 p.m. daily. We're going to check out the weather outside. We've sent Rick Mesmer out there. He's going to let us know what it looks like.